Have you ever realized that your family's old motorbike or car might contain something more valuable than gold? That substance lies deep inside the exhaust system, looking no different from a gray, clay-like honeycomb. It sounds absurd, doesn't it? But the truth is, it isn't clay at all. It's rhodium, the rarest element on Earth. At its peak, it was traded at prices 15 times higher than gold and 10 times higher than platinum, meaning that just a single gram could be worth thousands of dollars. So what transformed such a little-known element into the most expensive material in the world? And how does its journey unfold from deep layers of ore beneath the Earth's surface to the everyday components of a car? Back when you studied chemistry, you may have heard of a metal with atomic number 45. That is, rhodium. It does not stand alone. It belongs to a group known as the rarest precious metals on the planet, called the platinum group metals, PGMs, alongside platinum, palladium, ruthenium, iridium, and osmium. The story of rhodium begins in 1803 in London. British chemist William Hyde Wollaston, while analyzing a sample of raw platinum ore from South America, noticed something unusual. After separating platinum and palladium, he obtained a solution of salts with a vivid rose-red color. It was this very color that inspired the name rhodium, derived from the Greek word rhodon, meaning rose. Despite its beautiful name, rhodium remained largely overlooked throughout much of history, until modern industries began to recognize its true value. And obtaining it has never been an easy journey. At first, people tried to extract it directly from nature, but the problem is that rhodium rarely exists on its own. It usually accompanies platinum or nickel like a silent partner. To obtain it, ore must be mined and then subjected to a series of chemical reactions to first separate out platinum and palladium. The remaining fraction, containing only a tiny amount of rhodium, is then treated with acid under high pressure, forcing it to finally reveal itself. And at this point, another issue arises. The recovery rate from natural ore is extremely low, while the cost of extraction is exceptionally high. Over time, rich ore deposits have been depleted, making it increasingly impractical to obtain rhodium from the Earth. That's why the world is now turning toward another source: recycling rhodium from old catalytic converters, the critical components in exhaust systems quietly sitting beneath vehicles. Because of this, catalytic converter theft has at times become a global problem, since in just a few minutes of stealing one, a person could earn hundreds or even thousands of dollars, all thanks to rhodium. So the next time you start your vehicle and hear an unusually loud roar, it might just be that someone has made a reckless choice, fully aware of the value of this metal. So, how do you extract rhodium from an old vehicle? Imagine you have a multi-layered cake, and someone tells you to take only the cream from the middle without damaging anything around it. Difficult, right? But extracting rhodium is far more challenging than that. Step 1. Collection and disassembly. First, catalytic converters are collected from old vehicles. Then specialized cutting machines are used to open up the outer metal casing, revealing the ceramic core inside. This core has a honeycomb-like structure with thousands of tiny channels. And it's on the surface of these channels that an ultra-thin layer of rhodium has been coated beforehand. Therefore, to extract it, the entire ceramic block must be ground into a fine powder, so that each tiny particle contains a portion of the precious metal, allowing the chemical reactions that follow to reach the rhodium more easily. Step 2. Smelting. The ceramic powder is then placed into an arc furnace and heated to temperatures above 1500 degrees Celsius. At this point, precious metals like rhodium, being heavier, gradually sink to the bottom, separating themselves from the remaining impurities. Step 3. Acid dissolution. This is the greatest challenge. The resulting metal mixture is immersed in strong acid baths. And as mentioned earlier, rhodium is one of the most stubborn metals. Most acids simply cannot affect it. To grasp how difficult it is to deal with, even aqua regia, the acid capable of dissolving gold, fails under normal conditions. Scientists must use heated aqua regia combined with high pressure in specialized autoclaves, sometimes even adding special catalysts, just to force rhodium to surrender. Step 4. Precipitation and recovery of rhodium powder. Once rhodium has been dissolved into solution, chemicals are added to precipitate it back out in the form of salts. These salts are then heated in a hydrogen furnace. Hydrogen performs a rather interesting role. It gently strips oxygen away from the salts, leaving behind pure rhodium powder, a powder with a distinctive gray color. And to better understand its value, consider this. From an entire ton of catalytic converters, sometimes less than just a few hundred grams of rhodium are recovered. That tiny yield partly explains why this metal is many times more expensive than gold. From that minuscule amount of powder, after numerous processing steps, it is eventually transformed into gleaming metal bars or ultra-thin, highly valuable coatings. The journey to obtain rhodium is already so difficult, yet there are still other factors beyond human control, silently pushing its value to record-breaking levels. First, it is extremely rare. Rhodium belongs to the group of elements that appears least frequently in the Earth's crust. Out of 1 million parts of rock, less than 0.000037 parts are rhodium. It may sound abstract, but consider this comparison. Gold, which we consider rare, is actually about 1,500 times more abundant than rhodium. Each year, the entire world processes only about 30 tons of rhodium, whereas gold production reaches around 3,000 tons. In other words, all the rhodium produced globally in a year could fit neatly into the bed of a single pickup truck. Second, an inflexible supply. There is no mine in the world dedicated solely to rhodium. It only appears as a byproduct during the mining of platinum or nickel. This means that even if rhodium prices skyrocket to record levels of $30,000 per ounce, companies cannot simply extract more unless demand for platinum or nickel also rises. This is like wanting to buy only egg yolks, but the seller only offers whole eggs. You cannot increase the number of yolks without increasing the number of eggs. Third, dependence on geopolitics. About 80% of the global rhodium supply comes from just one country, South Africa. The rest is divided among Russia, Canada, and Zimbabwe. As a result, any instability in South Africa, from labor strikes and power outages to political fluctuations, can be enough to send global rhodium prices soaring overnight. So why does the entire world continue to chase after it? Simply because there are certain tasks that only rhodium can perform. First, rhodium possesses an exceptionally high reflectivity. It's one of the most reflective metals in the world, and notably, it never tarnishes or oxidizes over time. Because of this, it's used to coat mirrors in high-end optical devices and to plate jewelry, maintaining a permanent shine. Moreover, rhodium's chemical inertness is also remarkable. Most strong acids are powerless against it, which is why it's used to coat medical implants such as pacemakers. However, its most important application lies in an entirely different field. More than 80% of the world's rhodium is used in the automotive industry, specifically in catalytic converters, the exhaust component beneath vehicles that few people ever notice. Vehicle emissions contain a silent killer called nitrogen oxides, which cause toxic smoke and acid rain. Rhodium has a unique ability. It breaks down these harmful molecules, converting them into harmless nitrogen and oxygen. To date, no other material can perform this function as effectively as rhodium, making it an almost indispensable component for car manufacturers to meet strict emission standards, such as Euro 6 or China 6. And yet, there is yet another remarkable trait: its incredible heat resistance. With a melting point of nearly 1,964 degrees Celsius, rhodium can operate reliably in the harshest environments, from the cores of nuclear reactors to jet engines. And that's the full journey of rhodium. Thanks for watching. And if there's any phenomenon or scientific concept that sparks your curiosity, feel free to leave a comment below so we can explore it together in future videos.